Welcome back. Flour, staple ingredient for most holiday baking recipes, but there are so many to choose from. Here to break it all down for us is our kitchen scientist, Dan, 150% cold.
Oh!
150%.
Did I just get an upgrade?
I think you did. But first, we would like to invite everyone at home to celebrate Christmas in July with us and with Hallmark Channel's Keepsake Ornament Sweepstakes. Every day, we started on July 10th through the 23rd, we are giving away a set of our family members' favorite ornaments. All you have to do is head on over to Hallmark Channel's official Facebook page or to hallmarkchannel.com to enter for your chance to win.
Orly is in our family room with one of her favorites. Orly.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Well, the ornament that I chose is called Frosty Fun Decade. Look at this cute little guy. I picked it because I have the most fond memories of building snowmen with my family in Big Bear. We would go to Big Bear all the time, and we build snowmen, and I just can't wait to start that tradition with my little guys.
Wonderful, fabulous. Thank you so much, Orly. When did you come join us over here with 150% Dan?
Listen, if that wipes out the bad memory of me screwing up the Madonna game, I'm okay. I'm okay if this is the new joke.
Well, we forgot until you just reminded
It's only a
us,
joke. It's only a joke until I get tired of it. Okay. So, we're talking about flour and baking, and what does flour do for our baking needs?
I think most of the time when we think about flour, people think that it's bringing starch and carbohydrates to the mix. But actually, the most important part of flour is its protein content. And that's going to help you pick what you've got going on. So flour, wheat flour, has two different protein strands in it, glutenin and gliadin. And when you knead those with water, you actually get gluten, which is sort of, all in the media these days.
Right.
And depending on what you're baking, you either want a lot of those protein strands, you want a ton of gluten, or you want very little. Now, obviously, if you're allergic to gluten, you want none of it. But this is where you really need to figure out which is the perfect flour for your baked good.
Okay.
Okay.
I just go all-purpose.
Of course you do.
Well, it's called all-purpose. Why not?
I can't go all wrong if I go all-purpose.
You can't go all wrong, but you can go kind of wrong.
Okay.
So all-purpose is straight down the middle of the road. It is about 9 to 11% protein content. The rest of it is starch. And that means you can make everything with this successfully. You can get cookies, pie crusts, bread, biscuits. But if you want to be more specific and really amp up your baking this season, particularly around the holidays, you need to start looking at specialty flours.
Okay, speaking of specialty flours, what about cake flour?
Wonderful question. Now, if you only have all-purpose flour at home and you want to approximate cake flour, for every cup you're using, take out 2 tablespoons of it and add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch instead. That's going to approximate cake flour, which has a much lower protein content. Over here, we've got only 8 to 10% protein content. And that's really important because you can see the difference in the baked goods. These cupcakes were made with cake flour, and these cupcakes were made with bread flour. Now, because it's got a lower protein content, you get it's a much finer flour, it's a much softer flour, and you get a beautiful rise, and it's very tender. Because in baked goods, you have to remember, most of the structure is actually coming from sugar and eggs. It's not from the protein content here. So you want to drop it down so that you have that really lovely, tender, moist cake. Not a tough, chewy cake.
Is it going to change the flavor?
It will change the flavor, and actually you'll see that the most when we move over to this side of the table. Bread flour is the opposite end of the spectrum. Bread flour has 12 to 14% protein. It's way high, and you need all of that strength of those gluten strands because when you use yeast gives off a ton of carbon dioxide. If you only use cake flour, the carbon dioxide rips right through it, and you get breads that fall. So you can see here, this bread was made with cake flour, and this bread was made with bread flour, and you can see the difference in the height.
Yeah.
And also just sort of the beautiful dome of it. And you see it even more clearly with these rolls. And you really get better browning with the bread flour. They're a little flat over here with the cake flour. It's really important to know what you need and when you need it. And if you only want to use all-purpose flour and you want to bake some bread, take out 2 tablespoons for every cup and add 2 tablespoons of vital wheat gluten. This is actually just that protein.
And mix it right in.
Mix it right into your all-purpose
One to
flour.
one, or
for every cup, 2 tablespoons of this.
Oh,
if you want to
okay.
go this way, and if you want to go this way, for every cup, 2 tablespoons of corn.
So this is
That's
a
a
bread that's
bread
made
roll.
with cake flour.
Yeah, and you can see it sort of fell because there's not enough protein there to hold all of the gas in. And actually,
And it feels cakey.
Yeah, and with bread, it's important. You need all of that strength. Remember, yeast gives off a ton of carbon dioxide. That's how you get this height. So you've got to have a higher protein content to lock all of that in.
It tastes different.
It tastes different.
Is it
really
cake
does.
versus
lighter.
bread flour?
Correct.
Two opposite ends.
Two opposite ends of the
Is
spectrum.
there any reason anyone would ever make bread with cake flour?
You know, I think a lot of us assume that you really only need all-purpose, right? Or you only keep all-purpose and cake on hand. But for me, around the holidays, I love baking bread, and so actually, I never keep all-purpose on hand. I only keep these two.
What do you make pancakes with?
Because if I'm making pancakes, I'll do it with pastry flour, and if I'm making bread, I'll do it with bread flour. But for me, I don't need all-purpose because I am all-specific.
Oh, you are. Where is it okay if I know it's a little aggressive? I thought. And
155%.
I would say, and unnecessary. I must say, Dan.
Whoa,
But,
are we getting a flag on the play?
there's a check down about to happen. No, because I keep flour in like a canister on the counter, you know, that has the and the sugar and this. Is that how do you store? Is that good? Am I right?
It is good. You want dark, tight, and cool. Those are the three qualities you want for storing your flour. So if you're going to open this and leave it on the counter, you're going to get some bugs in it. You want to make sure it's tightly sealed, so either put it in another container or wrap it up tightly. And if you're in a very humid environment, keep it in the fridge.
And can I ask you guys, I kind of like the cake bread. Does anyone else like the cake bread?
It's all bread. It's all good.
I like the bread.
I like the bread.
I like the bread.
We need like
He's
dipping
right.
stuff
Yeah.
though, like some butter.
It tastes like
This is very
communion at my
intense.
church.
It's very severe.
I feel it's like communion.
Thank you so
last-
much,
will it
Dan.
last
We're gonna come
forever?
right back, and it's
Thank you,
Hollywood
Dan.
Steals with Sandy Lee.
Hey guys, no bugs here, right, Colleen? Come on back for our ho 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 Hollywood Steals.